if you're trying to get a loan and you have bad credit, okay, there are two options for you, okay, especially if you're trying to get over $35,000. All right, and I'm gonna show you those options because a lot of people are applying for loans, but they may not be looking at the other alternative in terms of who else may give them a loan. Okay, now, first, I want to start out with this tribal loan, okay, and so this tribal loan here is called a Northern Star. Okay, they're a tribal lender. They go up to $5,000. But I had been telling you guys in terms of, remember, I mentioned to you all about the third party credit bureaus. So, sorry about that. Let me get down here because I want to point this out because this is very important. When I talk about the third party credit bureaus, look at this. Clarity, Factor Trust, Microbuilt. Okay, these are all third-party credit bureaus. All right, and so I told you that Clarity is on with Experian, Factor Trust is on with TransUnion. I don't know who Microbuilt is owned with, but at the same time, they're holding all of your data. So if you've moved, right? So if you moved and you have a new address, well, guess what? These here credit bureaus are holding all the old addresses. So when you go to apply for a loan, then these here credit bureaus, they're not giving your updated information. They're giving the outdated information. So if you got married, had a name change, or anything like that, guess what? They have that information. And I'll tell you something else. If you had a CPN, if you had a credit privacy number, guess what? These here financial institutions have that information as well. Okay, and that may be the prime reason that you're not getting approved. Now, like I said, this here lender goes up to 5,000, but answering some of the questions in terms of like bank accounts and stuff, having an active bank account. Now, yes, no proof of income. And so, what does no proof of income actually mean? No proof of income means that you don't have to have a regular job. So, that means that you can be receiving child support, alimony, you can be receiving some other type of government benefits and stuff like that, and they'll still approve you. So you don't have to have a regular W-2 job in order to get approved for these type of lenders. Now, I would tell you with tribal lenders, and it's good, this is a direct tribal lenders, the interest rates on these type of loans is definitely going to be much higher, okay? Now, another place for you to get a loan, if you have a stock portfolio, I continue to tell you this because I don't care if you have zero credit. If you have a stock portfolio, you can borrow against your stock portfolio instead of selling it. It's called a margin loan. So you have difference. Basically, you have a margin loan you can get a loan for. Then you have a security-based line of credit. You can get a line of credit for your stock portfolio. Then, of course, if you own an asset like a home, you can get a line of credit for that as well. Right now, they have those HEA home equity agreements that a lot of people, instead of refinancing and getting rid of their lower interest rate, they're starting to use those. I don't know how well they work. You would have to talk to your mortgage broker or bank about those, but that's also an option for you to get a loan with no proof of income, with no job. Okay, I want to talk to you all about Avant. And the reason I want to talk to you all about Avant, because a lot of people hear about Avant, but the reason why I tell you guys, if you have bad credit, this is probably one of the highest places that you possibly can get a loan. Okay, and they go up to 35,000. However, one of the things that I want you all to understand about Avant, all right, is that you can apply with a soft form. But that's not the important part, okay? They offer the emergency loans and stuff. The important part, if you do not get approved for the loan, again, when you have bad credit, you may end up with the option of going toward their credit card, okay? That's the reason why I tell you when you have bad credit, you should seek out lenders that offer both a loan and a credit card. And the reason is because this is what's going to give you more leverage and making sure you have a higher chance of approval. So Avant is definitely one of those. The minimum income that they want you to have is at least I think it's 12,000 annually, okay? At least excuse me, I would say $1,200 a month. All right. That's the minimum. So it isn't like you have to have a lot of income to qualify for them. Now, again, one of the biggest things that stop people from being approved is not the credit score. More likely, what's happening is the data. When they're looking at those third party credit bureaus, if that data is not matching up, then it's very hard for them to approve you for a loan. So that's the reason why I continue to tell you need to go to the third party credit bureaus and get that information, because that's where you're going to have your highest chance of approval once you correct that information. Now, another place when you have bad credit and you're trying to get a loan. As a matter of fact, this is Prosper. They offer loans up to $50,000. But remember, I told you that they offer an alternative is the Prosper card. But I also wanted to show you this. This is so important so you can see what I'm talking about. This here is really what makes people understand why Prosper is similar not only to Avant, but also you would see is more details, because here it says eligibility for personal loans up to $50,000 depends on a number of factors, including but not limited to your financial history, credit score, monthly income, and monthly expenses. So that means they look at how long you've been on the job. By the way, they come from WebBank. So they look at how long you've been on your job, how long you've been at your address, okay? So you can have the unemployment benefits, you can have um, welfare, social security benefits. They are willing to work with you. All right. So again, it's not always about the credit score. That information on the application is more important than the credit score. And that being said, like the credit card, I always tell people, you looking for a credit card, look at somewhere like this. Now, here's the thing about it with these type of credit cards that can be a plus and a minus. And what I mean by that is that with your traditional banks like Bank of America, American Express, and stuff, they look at these here type of accounts as subprime accounts. Okay. And I was just talking to a client about this. With the subprime accounts, you have like if you have Chime, Kovo, and stuff like that that are not real revolving type of accounts. Even like that what is that, Austin Capital or Credit Strong, those are not your real revolving type of accounts. Okay, so that would make a difference between that one and this one. Now, again, you have three levels. You have accounts that just report a payment, then you actually have accounts that you actually utilize to make real transactions, and then you have the regular financial accounts. So with Avant and Prosper, you're making real transactional accounts, okay? And granted, they may be subprime type of loans and stuff. Consumer finance accounts actually is what they're called. You will still have a better chance of being approved with traditional banks and credit unions with these type of accounts than if you was going for like having adding on a Chime or a Self or a Kovo. Okay, so I hope I'm making myself clear. Now, the last lender we have is OneMain. Now, again, OneMain is also a dual account where they offer not only the personal loans, but they offer the personal credit card and work with people with bad credit. Okay, so if you can't get the personal loan, then you want to switch over and you want to go for the credit card. All right. So you may have a higher chance in the credit card. The point being is that when you have bad credit and you're trying to start over and you need capital, you don't go for one lender that's only offering one product. You want to go for a lender that's offering multiple products so you have a higher chance of approval. Okay. And again, like I said, no income proof because most of these, they just want to verify you do have, like if there's no job, you have some type of income, alimony, child support, disability. Those type of things is what they're looking for to show that you can actually repay back the loan. All right. So I hope this video helps you. If you have any questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.